Hello and welcome to Old Ways Gardening and Prepping. My name is Teresa. I'd like to welcome you out to my wild backyard on this beautiful, partly cloudy, cool morning. It's just absolutely beautiful. I'm busy harvesting because I'm getting ready to head over to the shed of many names. And well, now it's time to harvest stinging nettles. Yes, I have this small patch. I need to check my other patch over there. And I'm fixing to bring y'all along for some stinging nettle harvest. Absolutely wonderful medicinal plant. So good for so many things. Makes the best pesto there is. Also good for teas, adding to soups, you name it. And it's an extremely medicinal herb as well. I'm probably going to be drying some of it and also making some pesto with it. And I'll bring you along for all of that. So let's get busy over here harvesting. Okay, now to harvest stinging nettle, it's called stinging nettle for a reason. You need gloves and clippers. I cut them back so I can get several harvest out of them harvesters. But if you can see the stinging hairs on them, they're called stinging nettle for a reason. And don't worry, they're going to come right back up. I absolutely love stinging nettle. They are so delicious and healthy for you. I wish the neighbors could act like they had sound. Okay, now some of these are trying to go to seed. You know what? I'm going to harvest them anyway because I use them. Now you want to cut them back to where there's still some leaves so that they will come back. I'm behind on getting to harvest them. These I plan on digging up and putting them in their own raised bed here soon. And I have a bucket of water here to put them in. Might as well go on and take any bad leaves off. And I eat the leaves and the stems as well. Waste not, want not. Excuse me, Peter. And that's it for this patch. And I'll bring you back here in a little bit. I have a big, beautiful harvest of organic, homegrown stinging nettles, and being part of the global gardening and homesteading community. I need to weigh it, zero the pot out, and you betcha I'm putting gloves on. I mean, the sting isn't that bad, but I'm just not in the mood at the moment. Woohoo! 1 pound, hold on, 1 pound, 0.8 ounces. That's a nice little harvest there. Oop, 1 pound, 0.9 ounces. I'm wrong. Alrighty. Now I got to get these into some water, and I will see you back at the shed. Okay, welcome back to the shed of many names, where tonight we're going to do a little bit of wild cooking. This tonight, what I'm going to be making is stinging nettle pesto. Now, personally, to me, stinging nettles, especially when they're fresh, because I wouldn't try this with dried. It needs to be fresh stinging nettles. To me personally, makes the best pesto there is. And of course, there's a few little changes in the recipe from original pesto, and it's one of the best. So let's get busy making some stinging nettle pesto. Okay, what I'm gonna want is make sure that your worktop, your counter, is clean and sanitized, and all your equipment is clean and sanitized. And I'm looking for 6 cups of leaves and the tender stems. You want to make sure it's tender stems and not the bigger parts. And you're just going to strip off your leaves. Mine's kind of starting to wilt a little bit, but you know what? I'm going to use them anyway. And they have such a earthy smell to them. I love stinging nettles. I really do. What we're looking for is 6 cups of fresh stinging nettle leaves. I'm getting a little late start with mine, so it's best to use the fresh, the young stinging nettles. And that way you can use the whole stem and all the leaves. But if all you can get a hold of is the bigger stinging nettles, just use the leaves. I have been making stinging nettle pesto for many years. And let me tell you, they are absolutely amazing. Just remember, even though they're kind of a little bit wilty, they will still get you. And you want to get all the little leaves off of there too. You don't want to waste anything. And what you can't use, put in your compost pile. And the good thing about making pesto with the stinging nettles is once you whirl them around in either your food processor or your blender, they don't sting you anymore. The processing in the blender takes their sting away. Oops, get back in there. Once I get 6 cups of stinging nettles done, I'll bring y'all right back. Okay, I had just a hair over 6 cups, but that's fine. I'm still going to use them. And I slipped up and touched one of the stems. And let me tell you right there, in that tender side part of the finger, yeah, I know for a fact I was handling stinging nettles. They reminded me. Okay, because I have some on hand, I'm going to use 5 of my fresh garlic scapes. You can use garlic cloves, or if you're blessed to have garlic scapes, you can use that. You can use ramps as well, but you got to go a little light on the ramps because we all know how strong. Well, those of us who've had the pleasure of eating ramps know just how strong they can be. And this is going to be a single batch. I was hoping I had enough stinging nettles to do a double batch, but I'm blessed to have enough to make a single batch. And I'm just snapping. Oh, they smell so good. Go on that. It always has to be one. I'm blessed to have these, so I'm going to use these instead of a garlic clove. Alright, that's how you know when your garlic scape is starting to get, that part is getting tough. You can't snap it. It's like uh, doing asparagus. Okay, next ingredient. I'm going to use a cup of walnuts. I personally think that walnuts taste better in pesto than pine nuts. And plus the fact pine nuts are just too ridiculous price. Okay. I'll get a few extra. And that, you want a cup of the walnuts. Now, if you want to, I have made it both ways. This is just raw walnuts. If you want to give them more deeper flavor, you can toast them in your oven. Okay. Oh, it smells like good soil. I can't help it. I love stinging nettles and walnuts. Oh my gracious. Okay. Now, season to taste. If you want to, once I use the olive oil, you can go on and blend this up and then add your salt and pepper, or you can add it before you blend it up. And I'm going to use about a half a teaspoon of black pepper. Oh, right. And I'm going to use a teaspoon of sea salt. Because at the moment, it's easier to get to my sea salt than it is my pink salt. The sea salt was within arm's reach. Okay. Now, we're going to want, now this is when you can, if you want to, use extra virgin olive oil if you want to. But that extra virgin is getting really expensive. Not that regular olive oil is not either. You're going to want, if you have just 6 cups of stinging nettle leaves, you're going to want a cup of olive oil. Now, if depending on how you like the thickness of your pesto, you can always, if you want it thicker, add a little bit less. If you want it a little thinner, add just a little bit more. And I know for a fact I have Wrong side of the measuring cup. I'm going to add just a little bit extra olive oil because I went a hair over 6 cups. Excuse me. There we go. And we're just gonna, you can use a regular blender if that's what you have. You can use a regular food processor. I can tell now I'm gonna need a little bit more olive oil. Oh, and another thing. At the moment, I am out of Parmesan or Parmesan Reggiano cheese. Get the good dry stuff, not in the shaker, but the good wedge, and grate it. Or you can buy the good stuff in like the deli department. You want a cup of the Parmesan or a cup of Parmesan Reggiano. At the moment, I don't have it, but I can still make this pesto up and at a later date add the cheese to it. Now, if you like your pesto a little chunkier, that's fine. I like mine a little finer. Let's see how we're looking. Oh my gracious, that's so good. And I can tell it's a consistency I want. Now I'm going to put it in 2 containers and freeze them, y'all. You can freeze pesto. Mix it up and freeze it. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That not beautiful, rich green and so healthy for you. Alright. I knew off the bat looking at it, I wasn't going to be able to fit it all in to one container, but that's fine. I had another one on the ready. Now, if you have any like little stringy pieces, just guess what? Pull them out. Make sure you get it all off of there. Now, if you do your stinging nettles correctly, you can get depending on where you're at. We can do it here. You can get 3 to 4 harvests a year. Just see what the weather is doing, because you want them to have a chance to go to seed, so you can harvest the seeds and or let them spread the seeds. Now personally, me splitting the single batch apart like this, I would only put a half a cup of cheese in each one. And you don't have to put this in a food processor and re-blend it. You could. That's not going to hurt a thing. But let me tell you, this is some of my favorite pesto. I mean, I like basil, but in small doses. I'm more of an oregano person. Don't worry, I'm going to get some bread and take care of that. Stir it up real good. And always leave. Now you can do it. You can freeze it in freezer approved jars. Make sure they're freezer approved jars. And you can just fill your jar up 3/4 of the way. You gotta make sure you have room for expansion when it freezes. But look at that. Look how beautiful. I know some people will say, ew. But let me tell you, pesto is wonderful to spread on sandwiches. Marinate, use a little bit of it on chicken breast, marinate that and bake it or grill it. Let me tell you, it's good on steaks, fish, it's good on pork. Well, let's just say it's good on all meat. I've had it on goat, which is amazing. I have not tried it on rabbit yet, or squirrel, or venison, but other than that, yeah. Okay. I've been waiting for this because each year the batch will taste a little bit different. It depends on your walnuts, because walnuts can have a different taste yearly. And sometimes stinging nettle one year might be really good and strong. And the next year it depends on your winter and your spring. Oh, oh my gracious. Oh, now I can tell. Sorry, y'all. Wasn't going to waste that. Now, I can tell that there's no cheese in it. And believe it or not, it's actually still good that way. I love the earthy taste of stinging nettles. They are so healthy for you. And look at those 2 big, beautiful containers of pesto. That will freeze just perfectly. Hold on a minute, I'll fix the sneeze. Now, I don't know how many people noticed that when I tasted it, you notice it wasn't stinging. When it's blended up or put into like a hot liquid, it kills the stinging in the hairs. Now, also want to say, seasoning, you can change it if you want to. If you want to just puree it, the stinging nettle with the walnuts, cheese or no cheese, and the olive oil, and then taste it. Now it's going to be bland a little bit, but it's an earthy, earthy blend. Then you can decide for yourself how much salt you want in it, how much pepper you want in it, or whatever else you might want in it. Now, you can also use almonds, pine nuts if you have them. Don't go out buying pine nuts just to make pesto, believe me. You can use walnuts and they're just as good. Now, if you want a deeper taste, you can use pecans. You can also use macadamia nuts, whatever you like. Now, if you have a nut allergy, avoid using the nuts. It'll change the texture of the pesto a little bit, but guess what? You can still eat and enjoy your own homemade pesto. Just leave the nuts out. Why not eat something that you can make yourself, season it the way you want, and use what you want in it? Now, I'm going to tell you, the Parmesan or Parmesan Reggiano cheeses make a big difference too. It adds another depth to the flavor. I can't tell you exactly how much I love stinging nettle pesto. And I hope if you're able to get fresh stinging nettles that you will try it yourself and you'll find out it's a whole lot better than basil pesto in my opinion. Now I do eat basil pesto, but when I have stinging nettle pesto, I'll pass on the basil pesto every time. Now another thing I forgot to say, oh, it's good on hamburgers as well. Instead of using mayonnaise, mustard, or ketchup, a little bit of this on your bun. Oh, it's amazing. And it's a really good, healthy substitute compared to a lot of these condiments that's on the shelves. Because, yeah, they're putting all kinds of crap in that now. It's hard to find anything natural anymore unless you make it yourself. Simple, easy, homemade, beautiful stinging nettle pesto. And like I said, this is going in the freezer. It will store perfectly in the freezer. I don't make a whole lot that goes in the freezer, but this is an exception. Now, if you're a single person and you don't want to make this much pesto, or you want to make this much pesto, believe me, you do, but you can't consume this much pesto, use old-fashioned ice cube trays. Fill up each of the ice cube slots, cover it with plastic wrap. Try to make sure it doesn't touch the pesto so it won't stick to it. Freeze them that way and pop them out and put them in individual freezer snacky bags. You can do it that way as well. There's so many ways to do this. Now, if you take it out of the freezer, keep it in your fridge and consume it within a couple of weeks. And you can also add a little lemon juice if you want to. I personally don't think it needs it. I hope this encourages you to make your own stinging nettle pesto, because believe me, in my opinion, it's the best stuff on earth. It has such a wonderful earthy taste to it, and you will enjoy it on pasta. You can mix it with a little bit of vinegar and make a pesto vinaigrette. Just so many different options that you can do with this wonderful, extremely healthy, beautiful stinging nettles. Everyone, take care, stay safe and sound. Continue to stock your pantries with food that will sustain you and keep you healthy. Continue to stock your medicine cabinet, your protection, and anything else that you will need. Because believe me, the more you have put back, the better off you're going to be. I look forward to seeing you in my next video, and may you each be blessed. Hoot hoot. Y'all take care.